houseplants create a beautiful environment in our homes. They can also contribute to a healthier living environment. Now, as we've had more and more technological advances in energy efficient, we've saved energy, but we've also trapped gases inside our homes. These include volatile chemicals given off by building materials, adhesives, paints, carpets, and many other common household items. Many healthcare professionals consider these chemical pollutants to be one of the greatest threats to our health. Now, extensive research has been done on alleviating these chemicals, and houseplants provide the answer for us. NASA conducted extensive research along with researcher Dr. Wolverton, and together they found that houseplants can remove formaldehyde, benzene, and many other noxious gases from our environment. This research has led businesses to incorporate plants in their interior spaces to alleviate what's often called sick building syndrome. Now, we could do the same thing in our homes by simply growing more house plants. NASA recommends using one plant per every 100 square feet. And it's a great idea to concentrate these in areas where we spend the most time. At work, that might be around your desk, and at home, in your bedroom. Now, fortunately, many of the plants that work to clean our air are also very commonly found in greenhouses and nurseries. Among the top plants at scrubbing pollutants from the air are the palms, like this parlor palm. There are many different kinds of palms. They all come from tropical environments, and they do require moderate light levels and moist environment. We want to make sure to keep them well watered, and actually misting the upper area of the plant will help combat some of the problems that happen when it gets dry, such as spider mites. Now, both of our commonly used ficus plants are also great at cleaning air. These include the rubber tree and the weeping fig. These plants are a little bit more tolerant, easier to grow indoors, and in fact the rubber tree can tolerate lower light levels, so it's a great option in those darker rooms, while the weeping fig requires a lot of highlight. The Drasenas are a big group of house plants, and these are also wonderful air scrubbers. This is the dragon tree. It has this red edge on the foliage. Here's a little bit smaller version. Another very common Drasena indoors is the corn plant, and typically we find this one with the yellowish variegation in the leaf. And this is a small plant, but you can see as it grows, it develops this nice woody trunk, which adds a lot of interest. And Janet Craig is another Drasena. It's a smaller version here. This one's also very, very common, and all of these are excellent at cleaning air. Now, many of our vining plants used as houseplants are incredibly easy to grow. They also have a great amount of foliage, which contributes to this cleansing property. Some of the common ones are the pothos, both the solid green and the variegated. Spider plants are well known for their ability to clean air, as well as philodendrons, and also even English ivy. And again, the great benefit of a lot of these plants are their ease at growth, and they're relatively free of pest problems. Another highly vegetated plant, the Boston fern, great amounts of foliage. This actually rated #1 at removing formaldehyde from the air during those studies conducted by NASA and Dr. Wolverton. This again will need a little bit of a misting. It likes that moisture environment, but an excellent plant to consider if you're trying to improve indoor air quality. Now, one thing we don't want to forget is color. We've looked at a lot of foliage plants, but we can also add flowers to the indoor environment. Very commonly used plant for that is the peace lily, which creates these white spathes, a little hooded flower. And it also has beautiful deep green, shiny foliage. So a lot of aesthetic qualities to this plant, and again, good at cleaning air. Now, just behind the Boston fern at removing formaldehyde was the Gerber daisy and the florist mum or pot mum. These were second to the Boston fern and provide wonderful color to the indoor environment. Now, the pot mum provides about 6 weeks of bloom, and it's typically used as just periodic color and it's replaced frequently. This Gerber daisy I dug out of our garden outside. It's a little bit weathered from being outdoors, but the great thing is if you grow them outside in the summer, you can dig them up and pot them and then grow them indoors over the winter, and they'll continue to flower all winter long. So don't forget about adding a little color as you're selecting your clean air plants. Now, one of the things that Dr. Wolverton found is that the more air that's allowed to circulate around the roots of the plant, the more pollutants those plants can remove from the atmosphere. And the reason for this is an association of microbes on the plant roots. Now, a great way to increase the amount of air that reaches those roots is to use a self-watering container such as this. And these typically have a substrate that's made of small clay particles or even stone. And what this does is the stone particles and the clay particles have larger pore spaces, and so more air is allowed to get in there around the roots and contribute to that air cleaning property. The bottom of the pot has a reservoir where we add the water, and then it moves up through these wicks into the substrate to feed the plant. Another great benefit of using a self-watering container is that it maintains a relatively even moisture environment for our plants and supports healthier growth. Now, regardless of which plants you use, all of these will contribute to a healthy indoor environment, but you want to make sure you match them to the conditions in your home. Consider temperature and also lighting conditions as you make your plant selection. And think about diversity. The greater diversity of plants, the more pollutants will clean from the air.